Good morning, traders. How are we doing? Oh, my camera's all ajar. Hold on. Let me fix that. Hello, good morning. It's a great pleasure to be with you this morning. My name is Jason Krutzky. Hope you guys are doing great today. The market is not doing so great today. We got the CPI report this morning. It was a little hotter than expected. Now the narrative is kind of like, well, how can they reduce rates if inflation is higher than we thought it was? So the market doesn't like this, clearly. It's catching a little bit of a bid this morning, though, after a pretty steep sell-off in the first hour of the day, or the last pre-market hour. We're catching a little bit of a buyback here. So who knows what they're going to do. Yesterday, pretty perfect little bull trap that they created before they completely turned it around and reversed it and went quite lower. I don't have a huge agenda today. This is an office hour session. And like I always say during office hour sessions, the purpose of these sessions is to help get you acclimated on the platform. So if you're here and you're tuned in, perhaps maybe you're relatively new to TrendSpider. Perhaps you have some questions that you're looking to get answered. That's what we're here to do. I'm here to answer any questions that you guys have about the platform. Maybe you've had trouble scripting something, or you're having trouble understanding how to use a particular tool. Whatever you got, that's what I'm here for. So there's a few of you tuned in. Please do say hello. Let me know kind of what you're doing here today. I assume there's a few of you who are here that I know. But if there's anybody who is here that I don't know, if this is your first time tuning into an office hours session, please do say hello, introduce yourself, make your voice heard, and don't be shy. Really, I'm here to help you guys. So hit me with what you got. Yeah, I don't really have anything super prepared for you. I was kind of early on in the morning, I was kind of looking at QQQ and index seasonality just to kind of gauge what to expect. This is the 19-year look back. So historically, these last 2 weeks generally tend to perform pretty okay, especially this week, actually. But if we look just maybe like 5 years back to 2019, still it's almost the same. Next week might be kind of lousy over the past couple of years. But there isn't anything that's like striking and obvious on the Qs. I'm going to pop over to SPY and see what's up over there. Yeah, same kind of look on SPY. 64% win rate this week historically. Let's go back 19 years, 75% win rate. So that's kind of interesting because now the markets are maybe slightly doing a little bit different than they tend to do this particular week of the year historically. Of course, it is only, Tuesday? So there's time. Things could change. But we'll have to see on that. I can check out IWM really quick. Yeah, and IWM, same deal. Usually, historically, a pretty strong week of the year. Actually, the strongest week of the year historically for IWM. That's kind of a big deal. And how is that chart looking? I know if you guys follow our weekly analysis, if you're signed up to our mailing list, we send out every single week a pretty extensive list. It's chock full of great information. Myself and a few of my colleagues, we scour the platform for kind of all of the most important stuff that happened throughout the week, whether it be insider trades or, analyst estimates or seasonality, interesting seasonality information. Whatever it might be, earnings, chart setups, the best setups of the week, setups for the major indices, the SPY, the QQQ, the IWM. And we send that out every week. It's free. You can sign up for it. And we were noting and have been noting for quite some time this Wyckoff accumulation pattern that has been occurring over the past, almost 2 years here since May of 2022. I've been working on this accumulation pattern. You got your spring, you got your last point of supply. They're finding support at that last point of supply, kind of exactly where you would expect them to. And, you know, the next step would be a continuation up and out of this accumulation phase. So everything has been going to plan. We'll have to see if they're able to hold this, or if they do want to come back into the range. It would be a bummer for all the small cap bulls out there if they did come back into this range. But, you know, I suppose that they could come back into it at least to some degree and retest something a little bit lower if this is Wyckoff accumulation. So we'll have to wait and see on that. So I got no chat response at all. You guys, there's a few of you here. What are you doing here? You're not curious about anything in particular? You don't want to look at anything in particular? I mean, if you don't, you don't. That's fine. But I kind of figured you guys might want to look at something. You know what we could do? One thought. On a day like today, when everything is selling off and lousy, I like to look for the names that are bucking that trend. So let's do that. Excuse me. Gotta sneeze. So what I'm looking for here is I'm just going to say price close greater than price open. Simple as that. And I'm also going to define, let's do this. I'm going to duplicate this. I'm going to say price close greater than price close one candle ago. Because I want to see stuff that's up right now on the day. And I want to see that it's up from yesterday's close as well. Yuri, what's happening in the minor stocks, but just watching Bitcoin for now? Right on. Yeah, Bitcoin, crypto in general, been a banger, huh? What's up, Mark? How to get started quickly with the platform? Well, are there any particular tools that you were perhaps interested to begin with? Depending on your relative skill level and what you might be wanting to utilize the platform for, that could give me a good understanding of where to start. Because we could definitely talk about it. You know, there are kind of the more, I don't know, like entry level type tools. I'm going to run this scan really quick just to see if there's anything out there that is working today. And I know there will be, of course. Ooh, so let's also do this. I'm going to add a condition here, and I'm just going to define that price is closing greater than a constant value of like 20 bucks. And I'm also going to define volume. So I'm going to say indicator daily volume MA is greater than a constant value of 1 million. So this is saying average daily volume is greater than 1 million. This is saying share price is above $20. Just to kind of remove some of that low volume stuff, remove, you know, penny stocks and those sorts of things. And what do we got here? We got healthcare for sure. Let me do this. Healthcare, Elevance Health, Cigna is up on the day. Hershey. So now we're starting to look at like the staples. IBN, never heard of this one. HWM rather. Coca-Cola is up on the day. Disney is up on the day. Got BTU, Peabody Energy, United Healthcare. Interestingly, Pinterest is up. Well, all right, but it closed. Yeah, I don't really give that one too much credence. GoDaddy up on the day. Spotify up on the day. Interesting. Visa up on the day. Uber up on the day. We highlighted Uber in the weekend mailer this week. This thing got like 12, I want to say 12 analyst upgrades last week. Let me see here. See if I can find it. That's not what I wanted. Let's just go here. So yeah, Mark, I do want to answer your question. So if you can give me just a little bit more information about kind of what you might want to use the platform to do, then I can help you kind of get a quick start. So I'm going to go to, I'm in what's happening now here. And I'm going to all analyst estimates. And then I'm going to go to apply filters. I'm going to add some filters here. And I'm going to say symbol is Uber. And I'm going to look for specifically buys and upgrades. And I want to say I got 12 of them. I think it was Uber. Maybe it wasn't Uber. I could have sworn it was. Let's do this. Let's, instead of upgrades, let's remove the upgrade and let's just go to buy. Yeah, here we go. So it wasn't upgrades. It was just reiterations from some big names: Susquehanna, Barclays, JP Morgan, Citigroup, Mizuho, Needham. Lots of buy confirmations for Uber. Big price targets on it too, I believe. So there are some names that are performing okay. We might even want to, oh, I should have saved it. Darn. Let's do this too. Let's say price close greater than price close. I'm going to duplicate this. So I'm going to say one candle ago. I'm going to say one candle goes greater than 2, 2 is greater than 3, and then I'm going to add back those price conditions. So price close greater than constant value of 20, and then that volume condition, volume MA greater than a constant value of 1,000,000. Oops. What's up, James? What about JavaScript, sir? Was that meant for me? Or was that meant for someone else? And market's really firing back here. Very impressive. So the thing that I changed here, I wanted to look for names that have been increasing over the past couple of days, as opposed to something that was just higher than yesterday's high. NVIDIA really gaining back too. Impressive. Oh, sorry. That's what you're talking about, James. My apologies. What language in particular is needed for custom scripts? Yes, JavaScript. IBKR, very strong. SMCI, of course, very strong. This one's been a monster. I'm going to check the NYSE real quick. James working on a custom GPT to help build custom indicators. Yeah, James is a badass with the GPT custom indicator scripting. Hit us with it, James. Let's take a look at it. Cigna, Kava, TKO. Not much out there that has been gaining the past couple days and also gained today. That's for sure. I'm going to check the Russell 2000 real quick and see if there's anything else in here. IMVT. Immunovant. Interesting. James, hit us with a link. I want to see this script you made. Apart from basic charts, not sure where to start without many hours of videos. Okay, so Mark, let's chat. So there are basically kind of 4 main tools on TrendSpider. Well, there are 4 main sections of tools, let's say. So at the top here, one of the things that we are most well known for historically are the auto analysis tools. So the platform can automatically analyze the chart and create analysis on the chart for you. So this auto fib tool is going to automatically draw a fib sequence over the most recently completed move per the time frame that you're looking at. You've got auto trends here that's going to automatically draw the most mathematically precise and sound trend lines on the chart for you. You've got auto candlestick pattern detection, which is going to do exactly what it sounds like. There's a huge list of different candlestick patterns here, or individual candlesticks and multi-candlestick patterns. So think like hammers and dojis and those sorts of things that traders might be looking for. You can type into the search bar here different types of candles, hammer, doji, what have you. Say apply, and the platform automatically identifies them for you. And this is not just where, or this is not where this functionality kind of starts and finishes. The platform can show you these patterns on the chart for you, but then because it can automatically detect them, you can also transfer that auto detection into the scanner, into the strategy tester, into your alerts. So you can look for these. What's up, Braden? How's it going, man? What are you wishing me good luck on? So this auto detection transfers over into the other tools. It's not just a visual piece of your chart. You've got auto chart pattern detection too. So the platform can automatically detect a bunch of different broadening patterns, channels, double top, double bottom, head and shoulders, inverted head and shoulders. You've got several different triangles and 2 different types of wedges that the platform can automatically identify. You can turn as many of these on as you want. And whatever's on your chart, the platform's going to find it. Oh, good luck trading today. Hey, thanks. Appreciate that. Back at you, sir. And again, just like with the candle patterns, chart patterns are not just an on-chart discoverability tool. You can actually scan for chart pattern conditions, right? You can find names that are meeting this particular chart pattern criteria that you might be looking for. So for example, I'm just going to pop into the scanner. If you go to the search bar here and you type falling wedge, you're going to get several pre-made scripts for falling wedges. So falling wedge exists. Falling wedge failed, meaning price broke down out of it to the downside. Falling wedge breakout, right? It's going to pre-build that scan for you, and we can see if there's anything there. My guess is there's not a ton of falling wedge breakouts today, but yeah, we got a few. Let me turn this off. I'm just going to turn off all these so we can kind of see it a little bit more clearly here. Looks like they tried to break it out. Oh, I see. Current candle's not toggled on. Let me rerun this scan. Yeah, there we go. So here's your falling wedge. Here's your breakout. So if you have chart patterns that you like to trade, this is a simple, quick, and easy way to find those particular chart patterns, because there's basically, and price action related to those chart patterns, right? Because there's basically a chart pattern for all of the setups that you'd probably be interested in. So you can do that. Heat maps are another form of auto analysis tool. It's kind of getting in the weeds there with those, but my favorite of this one, or of the heat maps, is the horizontal heat maps. So this gives us horizontal levels where price is consolidated, right? Made the same highs or the same lows over a period of recurring candles or a sequence of candles. It automatically plots those levels for you on the chart. So those are kind of like the auto analysis tools, right? And auto analysis tools are one component of the platform. On the right-hand side here, you know, there's lots of traders that are interested in more fundamental type data. And so that's what the stuff on the right-hand side is, at least to some degree. You've got analyst estimates here, so you can kind of keep a track of what analysts are saying what about what names. You've got seasonality data, which is what we were just looking at earlier at the top of the show. Seasonality data can be broken down in a lot of different ways. The most common way, the default way, is by change percentage. So it's saying from the previous time period's close to the close of the current time period, how does it perform? Is it green or is it red? Does it increase in price or decrease in price? So this can give you an idea of like the seasonal strength of a name at any given time. So this is a good example. DGX over the past 27 years, the worst performing month historically for DGX, the month that has the least expectation of a positive return, is February. 39% of February is in the green, or 39% of February's close higher than they opened in essence. So you can utilize seasonality to kind of gauge you know, when you maybe should be or shouldn't be taking positions. Of course, you wouldn't necessarily want to be going long at the beginning of February when you know that February tends to perform poorly, but perhaps since you know that March tends to perform all right, maybe you want to be looking towards the end of February to take long positions into May, right? That's kind of one way to think about this, or perhaps you want to be looking for longs towards the end of September to carry you into the November strength. You're looking to buy weakness, sell into strength, and vice versa. But you can break this down in a bunch of different ways. You could break it down by like how often a month, or how often a month is above a certain RSI value or below a certain RSI value, or a money flow index value, or how often it's above its 20, 50, 200-day moving averages. You can also, though, break this down by different time periods, right? You got month of the year, you've got week of the year here. So we know that this week, even though this month tends to perform pretty poorly, this week tends to perform historically okay, 65% green or win rate for this month, but then this week, and the next week things get a little south, right? So maybe you want to be trying long opportunities next week with the idea of swinging them into this seasonal strength that comes in March. You could break this down by day of the week. You could see kind of what days tend to be the best performing days. Usually you're going to see a breakdown kind of like this, where it's pretty even keel across all 5 days. But sometimes you will see like Monday tends to be the worst, Friday tends to be the best, and it tends to increase over the course of the week. Sometimes you see the opposite of that. And then we even have hour of the day. So there is alpha in this. You know, sometimes the first hour of the day is the worst, the last hour of the day is the best. Those sorts of things is what you kind of want to be looking for with seasonality. So it's just another thing to add to your analysis. I think of seasonality as a layer. I do my like on-chart analysis. I look for price levels of interest. I look for indicator positioning. And then I come in on the back end after I found setups that I think look interesting. I come in on the back end and utilize seasonality to see, should I expect this setup to kind of work based off of how it tends to historically perform around this time of the year? Those are the sort of questions that I ask myself, and that's how I think about seasonality. You've also got, though, insider trading. So again, insiders, what are the insiders doing? A lot of this information you might find to be not well, I don't want to say not helpful. You know, an insider getting awarded shares doesn't tell us all that much. An insider selling a huge amount of shares at an all-time high might tell you something. An insider buying a huge amount of shares at a low or really anywhere, if an insider is buying a huge amount of shares, that tells us a lot. So you can look at that information on a per ticker basis using these buttons, or you can come over into what's happening now. I would encourage you to really tool around in what's happening now. So I'm going to do in what's happening now on the add a feed. I'm going to go and grab an insider one. Let's see here. Yeah, here we go. CEO buying own stock. So this is a up-to-date feed of CEOs buying their own stock. And, you know, it's going to give you how many shares they bought, how much was their purchase worth, how much ownership, how many shares do they currently own. So you can kind of gauge like how big their buy was relative to what they currently own. You can click on the symbols in here and very quickly and easily, oops, I got a bunch of stuff written on this one. You can quickly and easily kind of see like where they were buying. Why were they buying? Friday, February 9th, this insider bought the dip, right? This thing probably had an earnings event. Let's check and see if I'm right. Yeah, so they had an earnings event. The stock gapped down. The insider bought pretty much the low, and this thing has bounced ever since. So it's just a good way of understanding what insiders are doing. Of course, the most pivotal insider transactions are going to be these buy whenever an insider buys, especially when they buy a lot. You've got this guy at Graham here. Let's see. Oh, no, that's just their ownership. Apologies. I was going to say they bought a ton of shares, but they just own a ton of shares. So, you know, keep an eye on the values and keep an eye on this list. Here's one, $4 million, $3.4 million purchase on IHT. President, CEO bought back in December of last year. This thing hasn't budged since, really. So that's kind of interesting. Looks like the markets really liked his purchase because, 2 days after he did it, Friday, December 29th. So he almost bought the highs. No, wait, hold up. No, the 27th. All right, so this dude, this is interesting. This guy, he spent $3.4 million. And he bought shares presumably around $1.30, $1.40. This thing ramped to $1.90 3 days later. So presumably this ramped because of this purchase. You know, I don't know that to be absolutely true, but that's kind of what I would like guesstimate to be true. Maybe I'm wrong there. I don't know, but still pretty interesting. Hold on one second. This one is kind of interesting. This one's nearly a $6 million purchase. Oh, it's the same guy. So this dude bought like 10 million in shares at $1.20, $1.30, $1.40, somewhere in here. Be interesting to know. Let's see. See, now I'm going down a rabbit hole, so I apologize, but I really want to see what the volume looks like on this particular section of the chart. So I'm just going to highlight it really quick and turn this off. How much volume did they do on this particular day? Not a ton of volume. So, well, whatever the case, insiders buying can absolutely be a catalyst. So keep your eye on that. You've got unusual options data here as well. And unusual options data, let's just go to the Qs. Unusual options data, of course, is going to be ticker specific, just like all of the tools here. So if you want to see unusual options data in aggregate, maybe you want to find all unusual options above $1 million, all puts above $1 million, right? Maybe you want to like aggregate it in a more specific way. Again, you're going to want to utilize what's happening now. We can go to add a feed. We can go to unusual options, and then we can apply filters here. So let's add filters, and let's say, you know, premium is greater than $1 million. Let's also say we want, I don't know, we want puts. And let's also say for tags, We're going to say all the above, and we're going to say sweeps at the ask. This is going to be the most conviction put buying here. And we can very quickly and easily see everything that's coming across the tape. That's over $1 million in premium. That's a sweep at the ask. You've got orders on NVIDIA, on Oxy, IBM. Looks like you only have 2 orders. Actually, no put orders above $1 million today. That's interesting. The most recent ones are NVIDIA and Oxy yesterday. Would you ever derive the initial trade idea from seasonality, or are you solely using it as a secondary? I'm always using it as a secondary confirmation, personally. Ooh, James. I'm just seeing your message here. Might need to look at this. Let's go back to those CEO buying stock. Ah, yeah, you're right. All right, so maybe that's not a big deal. We need to... I'll let Russ know about this. Let's do this. That's interesting. That's a strange little data thing. Thank you for the heads up on that. I'll send that over to Dev. Hold on one sec. Okay, so getting back to your question, Mark. This kind of covers all of the, the auto analysis. That covers the tools on the right-hand side. And then you've got the tools on the bottom here, your strategy tester and your market scanner. Now, of course, market scanners are built for discovering trade ideas. And you can use them in all kinds of different ways. There's not a right or a wrong way. There's lots of different parameters that you can choose from. You can define price conditions. You can define indicator conditions. You can define candlestick pattern conditions, chart pattern conditions like we showed you earlier with those falling wedge breakouts. You've got earnings dates and earnings values that you can define. You can define dividend dates and values, split dates. You can divide news content, analyst estimates. All this stuff can be defined in your scanner. So you can... For example, I'm working on a new video right now. Let's see. Let's call it this. I'm working on a very simple video right now that kind of discusses some basics about how to find, stocks that are showing clear signs of strength, that also have powerful earnings or strong earnings over the past couple of quarters, analyst estimate upgrades or analyst upgrades over the past couple of days. This is a technical, right? There's technical conditions in here because I'm defining price relative to moving averages relative to one another. But then I'm also defining earnings data, saying that earnings per share have increased over the past couple of quarters and that we have an analyst estimate over the past, or we have buy upgrades specifically within the past 25 days. So this is fundamental criteria and technical criteria. I'm only utilizing one time frame here, just the daily, but you can utilize up to 4. We've got a bunch of pre-built scans made for you. Scroll through this list here and you will see all of them. My best suggestion here is if there's something that you're looking for, some sort of setup in particular that you're looking for, let's say something to do with RSI, type RSI in and see what's there, see what's pre-built, because there are some things that are pre-built. You can also come up here to visual scripts, and inside visual scripts, we have a ton of pre-built scripts that you can then send out. So let's say like MACD. If you type in MACD, you're going to get a bunch of scripts. Everything that's pre-built for you is going to be labeled as #sample. So for example, MACD cross up, MACD curling down, MACD negative, MACD positive, and so on. So let's just look for MACD cross up. If I select this, it pre-builds a MACD cross up for me, and then I could take this and I can send it to my alerts. I can send it to my strategy tester as an entry or exit criteria. I can send it to the scanner as a script. So if I wanted to find everything that had a MACD cross up, all the names that had a MACD cross up right now on the 30-minute time frame in particular, I can send this to the scanner. It inputs that in the scanner, and click this current candle toggle on, run the scan, see if anything in the Dow Jones 30 has a MACD cross up occurring right now. I don't know if it's going to find anything. Perhaps it might find something, but that is the kind of idea. And the scripting on the platform, you can utilize it in all of these tools. You can utilize it as an alert. You can utilize it in your scanner. You can utilize it in your strategy tester. So that's kind of a bit about the scanner. If you want me to dig in a little bit deeper on it, happy to do that. And then the last big tool is the strategy tester. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go up to the assistant here. So as someone who's new to the platform, Mark, I would recommend spending some time with the assistant. The assistant is an AI assistant, so it can help you navigate around the platform, find things that you might be looking for, help you script things. So like if I wanted to, I could write in here Tesla unusual options. And it brings up a prompt that says see all unusual options for Tesla, and it just brings them up. Here they are. Right? It pre-builds this for me. I don't have to define the filters manually. It does it. I can use this assistant for all kinds of things. I can say add VWAP. Right? And I'm going to click on that and it adds a VWAP onto my chart. I can do things like test MACD cross. And the first prompt, test MACD cross strategy for the current symbol. So I click on it. It loads up the strategy tester with a MACD cross as my entry and my exit. And then it runs the scan on this particular name on this particular time frame. So on the Qs, 15-minute time frame, looks like MACD cross. You've had 251 of them over the past year. 46% win rate. Average return, 0.13%. The return relative to the asset itself, total return of 37.2% versus the asset moving 53.3% in that same period of time. So that's kind of what the strategy tester is for. And you can utilize the assistant to build out the strategy for you. If it's something simple like this, if it's something more complex, you can build it yourself. All of our scripting is point and click. You saw me doing it earlier. Just kind of, it prompts me through the conditions. We also have some GPT functionality here as well. So if I wanted to, when I'm writing conditions, whether I'm in the scanner, in the strategy tester, in a multi-factor alert, I can say things like SMA 20 greater than SMA 50 and say apply. It's going to build that script for me. I didn't have to write it out manually. It just builds it for me. And that works for indicators and for price conditions. So there is some additional GPT functionality there for you. I guess the last thing is alerts. And again, if you want to dig in more in strategy tester, happy to. I know I'm like hitting you with so much information right now, so I'm weary of going too deep on anything, but two different types of alerts on the platform. We have what we call dynamic alerts, and we have multi-factor alerts. So dynamic alerts can be created on pretty much any chart element. So think like moving averages. If I want to, I can right click on a moving average and say create alert on it. I choose my trigger style, my sensitivity, my time frame for the alert, how many alerts I want to receive, and how long I want them to live, how long I want this alert to live. 10 days or 5 triggers, what have you. You could choose a breakthrough, a touch, or a bounce, or all 3, or just 2. It's up to you, whatever you want there. But essentially, you just set this up to meet the requirements of the type of alert that you want to receive, and then it monitors that chart, that particular time frame, that particular moving average for the condition that you just defined. So that's what we would call a dynamic alert. You can put those alerts, like I said, on chart elements. So if you added a trend line, you wanted to put it on a trend line, you could. Just right click on the trend line, create alert at the line. You can draw your own trend lines if you want to. Let's say you're a horizontal level guy. Draw a horizontal level, right click on it, create alert on it. You can also, though, create what we call multi-factor alerts, and that's where those scripts come back into play. So I'm just going to go back to that MACD cross idea. So let's say I'm looking for a MACD cross. I'm looking to be alerted on a MACD cross here. I can send this to the alert. And so this brings up my multi-factor alert, and it's looking for a MACD cross up on the 30-minute time frame on the cues. Again, choose how long I want it to live in my system, how many times I want to be alerted on it, create the alert, and now I'm going to get alerted every time there's a MACD cross on this particular name on that particular time frame. So that's kind of how the alerts work. I have just hit you with so much information, so I'm going to take a step back and let you kind of tell me if there's anything in particular that you would like for me to focus on. If you'd like to dig in more on something, I'm happy to do it. Dontatus, let's see what you had to say. Sorry. Let's get this music going again. You've noticed the scanner 1 candle ago references 2 candles back. So then that has to do with go for it where? What do you want me to dig in on? So let's talk about this real quick, Dontatus. We're just going to do something very simple here. Price daily close greater than price daily open. All right. So as this is scripted, I'm looking for the current candle because I'm saying 0 candles ago. So we're looking for the current candle or the most recently closed candle, we'll say. Because by default, when you open up the market scanner, the current candle toggle is toggled off. And the reason why this is the case is because we assume that you want to see conditions that have been met, right? And you not just want to see them having been met, you want to see that the candle closed and the condition was true. So price could, let's just like throw something out there. Let's say you're looking for price like closing above a particular moving average. It's opened the day below the moving average. You're looking for it to close above the moving average. At any point in the day, price could get above that moving average. But if price doesn't close above that moving average, then did it meet your criteria? Technically, it was above the moving average intraday, but it closed below. So therefore, it didn't meet your criteria, right? So then you may not want to see a result. You might not want to see that as a result because it may or may not be true. So that's kind of the idea behind the current candle. If I have the current candle toggled on and I have these both conditions defined as 0 candles ago, then we're talking about today's candle. This candle that is forming right now. So I got a daily time frame. I'm looking for green candles on the current candle. If I have this current candle toggled off, then it's looking for the most recently closed daily candle, which is yesterday. So it's going to be looking for green candles yesterday. If I have this, if I'm saying today's close is greater than yesterday's open, or let's just say close for the sake of something a little bit simpler. Let's say we wanted to find today's close is greater than yesterday's close. Well, then for now, if right now we're looking for a price is higher than it closed yesterday, you want to have this current candle toggled on, and you want to have this marked as one candle ago. If you have the current candle toggled off, well, the most recently closed candle, since today's daily is still forming, is yesterday, right? And then therefore, if this candle is yesterday, then the one candle ago is actually 2 candles ago. It's actually Monday's candle. So the big thing that you need to specify, Dontatus, is this current candle toggle. That is the key there. And again, why we don't have current candle on as default is because we assume that you want something to be true, absolutely true. And it's only absolutely true if the candle closes, right? Because at any point, if the candle's still open, something could happen. A news event could happen, and the candle could completely change, and then the condition could completely change. So hopefully that helps. Yeah, okay, cool. So you just hadn't seen that option. That is the key option here. So glad we got that covered. Mark, talk to me. Was there something in there that you wanted to specifically go in a little bit deeper on? Also, there are a handful of new folks here. So if you haven't said hello, please say hello. If you have questions for me, now's the time. Brian, what's up, man? Is there a metric representing interest rates to compare against? Like seasonality, looking at rotation of sectors, those equities down and higher, longer. What's up, Dwayne? Hope you're well, brother. Can you use candle pattern recognition with the current candle? I don't see why not. Particularly with Fed talking about perhaps cutting rates twice in the coming year. So what I would kind of think to do, Dwayne, I'm going to get to your question in a moment, and then let's talk real quickly, Brian. What I would think to do here is in other data, I would add Fred data. And then in Fred, we could say interest rates. Let's see. Okay, this isn't what we need. Maybe the effective rate. Maybe this is what you're looking for. So kind of what I would do here, and I don't know if I'm answering your question. I don't know if I'm answering your question as well as I could be. So Brian, you can give me some feedback on this. But what I would be kind of doing is I would be looking at areas where they cut and comparing the tickers. Let's see, AEP. Kind of like comparing the price action of the ticker that you're interested in. What did price do when they cut rates? Would kind of be where my head's at on it. There's not a way to define, there's not a way to search this. All I can do with the federal or with the Fred data is visualize it. So I would just have to do on-chart comparison here. Zero cost divided by 4 credit broken wing butterflies that are also options, spreads, on chart versus chart analysis. Yeah, compare Fred's over same time period. That's kind of how I think about it. And maybe this data point isn't the one that you're after, that Fed funds rate, but I would assume it is. Mark, unfortunately, there's no way to do those sorts of options calculations on the platform, unfortunately. Perhaps, so we do have, let me show you this. This page is a bit of a work in progress, admittedly. We haven't even announced that it exists yet. But perhaps we can, you could make the suggestion to our team. Actually, well, 2 of our support team are actually in this chat right now. So perhaps maybe what we could do is we could make a request to the development team for some unusual options calculation tools to be added to this calculators page. Actually, you know what, dude? I'm just going to do that for you right now. All right, I have made that request for you, Mark, for those unusual options calculator tools. I cannot say for sure if or when they will come down the pipe, but we can always make the request. They don't know that anybody wants it unless it gets requested, so it's worth making the request. Yeah, Brian, I'm kind of rereading your question here. And there really isn't. The only other thing, I mean, I don't know if this is going to be the thing that helps you, but there is market breadth data in here, which isn't sector specific per se. Oh, it's not applicable to the weekly. Darn. All right, well, you can still, I don't know. I don't really think this market breadth data is going to help you. Yeah, I don't know, man. That's a tough one. I don't really have a good answer for you on that. So I guess if I don't have a good answer for you, then it's not available on the platform at this time, unfortunately. All right, so Dwayne, candlestick pattern recognition with the current candle. Do you mean like visual? Presumably, you mean the visual. I believe that the platform will not highlight the candle. It will not highlight the candle until the candle has closed. So the visual representation of it on the chart, you won't get that until the time frame is closed. So we've got a 2 up, like for example here on AEP. You have a 2 up today, but it's not highlighting it as such. But it is a 2 up. So what I would do, the only thing you really can do is you would just define it in the scanner. So we'll say break up. We'll say also that it's green right now. It's price close greater than price open. Let's see if anything is meeting this criteria. Yeah, UNH. Yeah, so you have a 2 up today on UNH. right? And it's green on the day. You went 2 up, you're green on the day, but it's not highlighting it. It'll highlight it when the candle closes. Yeah, Mark, no problem. No problem, Dwayne. Oh, defining in the scanner. Yeah. So just have the current candle toggled on. That's it. So you guys, we are at an hour here. This thing has flown by. I believe we started an hour ago. Let me make sure. Yeah, we're at an hour here. Generally, I hang out for an hour. Are there any last minute questions before I hit the road? Do you guys have any other things that you're curious about that I can help with? If not, then I'm probably going to jump out of here. Mark, please explain the various workspaces and why when new stuff comes out, it has to be manually added versus just being available. When you say new stuff comes out, what does that mean? Also, are there ways to auto trade with TrendSpider and Broker? Yes, there are. All right, so workspaces. First thing about workspaces. If I go to TrendSpider.com and I launch, I have a bunch of workspaces I can choose from, right? So here's a secondary workspace. Now, all of my workspaces look the exact same, and that's because I've cloned them all to look the exact same. I make a lot of videos. I need all of my workspaces to look the same. So I've done that. The purpose of having multiple workspaces, however, is so that you can create workspaces that are unique to you. Brian, we're still going over here. The idea behind it is that you can have all of your workspaces up at once if you want. So if you have, let's say, 10 monitors in your office and you want to, put a workspace on each monitor or, on 6 monitors or whatever, you can. So you can track in full screen form. You can track a bunch of different names at once. We also have that. Let me show you. Go back to TrendSpider, go back to lunch. We also have multi-symbol view that allows you to do that all in one place. So you can have multiple tickers in one workspace. So that's the first idea behind the workspaces, is to allow you the ability to jump between different tickers, have different looks, and it all up at the same time. Now, when you create a drawing on a name, just creating a drawing on UNH here. Notice how in my other workspace, the drawing is there. Pretty handy. But what if I don't want that? If I right click on that drawing and go to properties, you have this display in all workspaces button. So if I want to turn that off and say done, now I go to my other workspace and it's gone. So that then opens up a whole second layer of functionality, right? Where I do all of my daily analysis in this workspace. I do all of my hourly analysis in this workspace, and so on. So that's the big idea behind the workspaces, is so you can really get precise with each one about what you're doing in each one. You could be like me and you could just create a bunch that look the exact same. Or you can get really, really specific and say, I only use this one for the hourly, and I only use XYZ indicators on the hourly. So this one is pre-built with all of my hourly indicators, right? And you could have an hourly workspace. You could have a daily workspace and so on. Does that answer your question? Your question about when new stuff comes out, it has to be manually added versus just being available. Are you talking about, are you talking about indicators? Are you talking about like custom indicators? Full time frame continuity, insider buy tags, those sorts of things? If that's what you're talking about, the reason why those have to be added is because they are custom indicators. They are specifically custom indicators. So they're not hard coded into the platform. You can either choose to add them or not. And not every new thing that gets added to the platform is going to be a custom indicator, right? We make lots of changes to the platform all the time. We're kind of always making upgrades to it. And there are a lot of things that just get added without you having to add them. The things that you have to specifically add are going to be these custom indicators that we build. And I think part of the reason why we are launching them in the way that we're launching them is because we're actually going to be opening up a TrendSpider store in the not so distant future, like a web store where users, people who are on TrendSpider, can create and develop and share and sell their custom indicators. And in all of those instances, in any instance where I'm sharing an indicator that I make, or you're sharing an indicator that you make, or you're wanting to buy a particular indicator that somebody else makes, you're going to have to know how to take that code or how to take that shared indicator and load it into your platform. So we're kind of seeding the idea of you learning how to do that. But you're only ever going to have to know how to do that for custom indicators. There's really never another time when you have to load something into the platform on your own, just for anything that's shared strategies, shared indicators, shared watch lists. All of that stuff is shareable. It's just a matter of, who's sharing it with you, where you're getting it from. And then as far as auto trading, you asked about auto trading. So I'll show you this really quick and then we'll jump out of here. When you run a strategy, just running a random strategy here. I don't know if it's going to work. I don't really care if it works. Clearly it doesn't work at all. I can then, after you run a strategy, there is this option that says launch as trading bot. So let's say you build a strategy, you're really stoked about it, you want to implement it. Choose launch as trading bot. And then you'll need a subscription for a order routing service. We have one called SignalStack. Here's a link. If you have like really specific questions about SignalStack, the guys in chat in our customer support team, they can really help you. James in particular is very versed on all things SignalStack. But you can always ask questions here in chat. Same guys on our team, on the TrendSpider team, they're manning the SignalStack chat as well. So SignalStack is an order routing engine. Here in SignalStack, you can get a webhook once you're logged in. Let me see if... Darn, I don't have my phone close, so I can't get the 2FA code. I apologize on that. But in SignalStack, once you have an account, then you can very easily create a webhook. You turn on your webhook here. You input your webhook entry and exit here. And then in the body, it pre-builds the body for you. And then inside the body, you just have to define how many shares you want to trade. There's like a little number thing. I wish I could show you. But there are demos as well. So on YouTube, if you search Signal Stack, actually, let me just find that video for you. Here we go. So here's a link for you to a video that talks about how to link your brokerage to Signal Stack. And then basically, once you have that webhook and the webhook body stuff defined, you just create the bot and it's off to the races, and it'll trade whatever you defined in your strategy. It'll trade that in and out for you. You don't have to use the bot to place trades. You can use the bot as just an alerting system, as a signal, but that's what the bot's for. And again, if you have more specific questions, Mark, on Signal Stack in particular, the customer support team can definitely help you. So, are we good? Do we feel good? Do we feel like we understand everything that we need to understand? Is everybody up to speed? Couldn't the free shared stuff be auto-shared, provided the author is okay with that? I don't think so. It would be tough. Because the author would then have to get our development team to implement it on the platform. And, you know, I don't know. Maybe that's not tough. I honestly am not sure. The suggestion is a good suggestion. I just don't know. I don't know what it would take, or I don't know anything about the implementation process of adding things across the entire platform for everybody to access at the same time. But it is a good suggestion, Mark, for sure. It would definitely be nice, right, to be able just to share with everyone all the time, instantly. But I just don't know what that would take to implement. I don't know how that would work. It's a little outside of my wheelhouse of understanding, unfortunately. All right, so we are definitely past time here. Any other questions? Any other questions? If not, speak now or forever hold your peace, at least until Thursday. At which time I will be back live again Thursday morning-ish. I don't have a specific time. If you've enjoyed this live stream, well, first of all, thank you for tuning in. It's been a pleasure hanging out with you this morning. If you have enjoyed this live stream and you'd like to be notified about when I'll be live again, just follow us. Follow us here on YouTube. Follow the channel and turn on notifications for when we go live, and you will be notified when we go live. If you enjoyed this live stream and you want to do me a solid, give us a follow and give the video a like. You know, the fact that you guys are here means a ton. I'm glad always to kind of help and help increase y'all's understanding of how to utilize the platform. And if you guys continue showing up for these sessions, we will continue doing them. So if you enjoyed it, follow the stream or follow the channel, turn on notifications, tune in next time, and bring your questions. No question is off limits. I'm happy to answer anything that I can possibly answer for y'all. So last call for questions. Going once, going twice, going 3 times, going 4 times. I know chat is a little behind the live feed, so I want to make sure that I don't miss anything. I don't want to leave anybody hanging. All right, I think we're going to call it. Yeah. All right, we're going to call it. Dwayne, thanks, man. Appreciate you. Always a pleasure. Hope you're well. Y'all, if you have any questions in between now and the next time I'm live, Dwayne is one of our fantastic customer success support fellas. He can help answer your questions while I'm away. If you guys need me, you know where to find me on Twitter, at Krutzky Trades. I will leave my handle there in the chat. Feel free to holler at me if you need something, again, when I'm not live. And until next time, I hope you have a great rest of your trading day. Thanks again for being here, and we'll see you guys at the next one. It'll be Thursday. It'll be in the morning sometime around this time on Thursday. I don't have an exact time yet, but I'll have a link live probably by tomorrow night. Any way to find intraday setups as they occur? What you looking for, Mark? All kinds of ways. But give me some specifics. The way to do it is with the scanner, for sure, and then just use lower time frames. Mark, if you want to dig in real quick, we can. But give me an idea. Meet me in the middle, as they say. Mark, going once, going twice, sir? If you got nothing in particular, think about it. Come back on Thursday, and we'll search for what you're looking for. How about that? Let's do that. I think that's a good middle ground, because I do have to jump. So think about what you might be after. Could be anything. Could be price conditions, indicator conditions, candlestick pattern conditions, all the above. Think about what you might want to find intraday. Join up on Thursday, and we'll build the scan together. How about it? Cool? Sounds good to me. All right, guys. It's been a pleasure. Again, thank you for being here. I'll see you guys on Thursday. Have a great rest of your day. All right. Take care. Bye.